Have you ever noticed something strange? The moment you finally stop explaining yourself, stop chasing, stop reacting, suddenly the toxic person becomes restless. They text more. They act confused. Sometimes even angry. And you sit there wondering, why now? Why do they suddenly care after ignoring your feelings for so long? Why do they suddenly seem affected when you finally start protecting your peace? Because toxic people feel comfortable when they control your emotions. They feel secure when your mood depends on them, when your energy revolves around fixing the relationship, explaining yourself, or trying to make things work. But the moment they realize they can no longer disturb your peace, everything changes. And if you're watching this right now, maybe this feels personal. Maybe there's someone in your life who leaves you emotionally exhausted. Someone who makes you feel guilty for having feelings. Someone who constantly shifts blame onto you until you begin questioning yourself. You start wondering if maybe you are too sensitive. Maybe you overreact. Maybe you expect too much. But what if the real problem isn't you? What if you've simply been emotionally trapped by someone who benefits from your confusion? The truth is, toxic people don't always look toxic in the beginning. Sometimes they seem caring. Sometimes they appear deeply loving. Sometimes they know exactly what to say to make you feel safe. In the beginning, everything feels beautiful. They listen carefully. They make you feel special. Like someone finally understands you. But slowly, things begin to shift. You start apologizing more. Overthinking more. Crying more. And somehow, despite trying your best, things still feel heavy. Every disagreement becomes your fault. Every emotional need becomes too much. Every concern turns into an argument. And eventually, you begin walking on eggshells. You become careful with your words. Careful with your emotions. Careful not to upset them. And without realizing it, you slowly start disappearing. The confident version of yourself becomes quieter. The happy version of yourself feels distant. And one day, you sit alone wondering. When did I stop feeling like myself? This is what emotional exhaustion looks like. And the scary part? It happens slowly. So slowly that you barely notice it. Psychologically, many toxic people survive on emotional control. They don't always do it in obvious ways. Sometimes it's subtle. They make you feel guilty. They make you feel responsible for their moods. They twist situations until somehow, you end up apologizing for being hurt. And this creates something dangerous. Emotional dependency. You begin chasing their approval. You wait for their good mood. You crave the version of them that appears once in a while, the sweet version, the caring version, the version that gives you hope. Because toxic people are rarely toxic all the time. If they were, leaving would be easy. Instead, they give just enough love to keep you attached. Just enough kindness to make you question yourself. Just enough attention to stop you from leaving. And suddenly, you are trapped between pain and hope. You remember the beautiful moments. The promises. The apologies. The "I'll change." And your heart whispers. Maybe things will be different this time. But deep down, nothing really changes. The cycle repeats. Again. And again. And again. This is why leaving toxic people feels so hard. Because you are not just attached to the person. You are attached to their potential. You are attached to who they could become. And that hope can keep people emotionally trapped for years. Now here's something painful but powerful. The thing toxic people fear the most is not arguments. It's not confrontation. It's not anger. It's emotional detachment. The moment you stop reacting emotionally, their control weakens. Think about it. Manipulation only works when someone can control your emotions. When they can make you anxious. make you guilty, make you desperate for understanding. But the moment you stop explaining yourself endlessly, the moment you stop begging someone to understand your worth, the moment you quietly choose peace over chaos, everything shifts. And suddenly, they notice. Sometimes they come back. Sometimes they become nicer. Sometimes they act confused. Because your silence disrupts the dynamic. They are no longer controlling your emotional state. And for the first time, you become emotionally unavailable to manipulation. Now let's be clear. Silence does not mean revenge. It does not mean becoming cold or cruel. Healthy silence means no longer arguing to prove your value. No longer begging someone to treat you with respect. No longer exhausting yourself trying to be understood by someone committed to misunderstanding you. Because here is a truth many people learn too late. Someone who genuinely loves you should not constantly make you feel emotionally unsafe. Love should not feel like emotional survival. You should not feel anxious every day. You should not fear expressing feelings. You should not constantly lose sleep over someone's behavior. And you definitely should not have to shrink yourself just to keep someone comfortable. Real love feels safe. Respectful. Consistent. Not confusing. Not exhausting. Not painful every single week. If someone constantly leaves you emotionally drained, pay attention. If you feel anxious before texting them, pay attention. If you over-explain yourself all the time, pay attention. If you no longer recognize yourself, please pay attention. Because sometimes the biggest sign of emotional damage is not bruises. It's losing yourself. And maybe this is the moment where something clicks for you. Maybe you're realizing you were never asking for too much. You were simply asking the wrong person. For effort. For respect. For emotional maturity. And there is nothing wrong with wanting healthy love. Nothing wrong with wanting peace. Nothing wrong with wanting kindness. The problem begins when you start abandoning yourself to keep someone else happy. Healing starts when you stop feeding chaos. When you stop reacting to every insult. When you stop trying to convince people of your worth. When you stop begging to be chosen. Because the truth is, the people who truly value you will never make you feel like love must be earned through suffering. And yes, sometimes protecting your peace means walking away. Even when your heart still loves them. Even when letting go hurts. Because peace is expensive. And sometimes, the price is losing people who only knew how to hurt you. But something beautiful happens after that. Slowly, you begin returning to yourself. You laugh again. You breathe easier. You stop overthinking every little thing. You begin trusting yourself again. And one day, you wake up and realize. You no longer miss the chaos. You only missed the version of yourself that kept hoping things would change. So if you needed a sign to choose yourself, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the moment you stop tolerating emotional confusion. Maybe this is the moment you stop chasing people who drain your spirit. Because the moment you stop seeking peace from toxic people, you finally begin creating peace within yourself. And that changes everything.